Mic check. Mic check. We live. Look, man, it's my first time doing this, so I'm just gonna go at it. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna do the best I can and try to bring y'all this live content. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be talking about a lot of Commanders information, a lot of Pistons information, a lot of sports talk in general. You know what I'm saying? Just getting it cracking. Giving you my unfiltered opinion on this stuff. And hopefully y'all like it. If you don't, that's cool too. I'm open to all criticism. I'm open to everything like that. I'm just trying to do what I think I could do. A lot of people have come to me and said that they would like me to do this. So this is my shot at it. You know what I mean? Things might, look a little crazy right now, but I'm gonna upgrade and keep going with y'all support. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to doing this, and hopefully y'all like it. Hopefully y'all support. But I'm gonna dive right into it. But first, I'm gonna send out this link. See if I can get some viewers on here for the very first time, and then we'll go from there. 1 second here. All right, so sent the link out to a couple people. We're gonna go from there. But appreciate everybody for checking this video out. I'm just going to, shoot off the top, and hopefully y'all like it. But one of the first things that I want to talk about is just a little bit about my fandom. I'm a big time Commanders fan. It's just in my blood. My dad installed this in me as a young fella, so that's all I know. I follow the NFL and I follow pretty much all teams. I know what's going on, but Commanders is my expertise, in my opinion. So look, I'm just gonna give y'all my unfiltered opinion on this stuff, and hopefully y'all like it. But the first topic we're gonna address is this notion that Jaden Daniels is gonna have like a sophomore slump, and that Washington is not going to be as good anymore and things like that. Like it's a lot of negative things floating around as well as positive. It's some positive stuff floating out there, but um there's a lot of negativity floating out there as far as is he going to take a step back from last year? Um and I'll just come right out and tell you that's not going to happen. Jaden Daniels is one of them special quarterbacks. He's a generational talent. Um, the numbers speak for themselves, but really, you could just do the eye test. Just if you watch them play enough, then I don't think anything that I would say about him is crazy. You know what I mean? Um, the kid is just uber athletic. He's got an arm. He's super accurate. But I think the biggest trait about him is up top. He just got the mental stuff. He's got the correct makeup that you're looking for in a franchise quarterback. But not only that, he has the traits to ascend. He has the traits to take lesser talent and make that talent better, right? Like that's why nobody really was picking us to do anything last year, even after we drafted him, is because you looked at the roster and you were like, Ain't no way they're going to be able to turn it around in 1 year. Well, I got news for you. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. And it's not just Jaden though that turned this whole thing around. I'd be lying to you if I said that, I really believe that it was all Jaden. Most of it is, at least 50% of it is, maybe even more. You might even throw like 60, 65%, but that other 50 or that other 40% is, new ownership, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, the whole entire staff that they brought in. This is quarterbacks coach and Brian Johnson, uh, Tavita on that quarterback in that quarterback room staff. Um, they have every step of the way. They have knocked this out the park as far as getting good people in the building, getting good football minds in the building. Um, they've turned over every stone. They haven't missed anything. So a collective from all of these different people, including Jaden, is the reason why we had the success last year. But sticking back to Jaden, um, the young fella is just great. He's just great. He's got the only thing he has to do now is just be consistent. That's literally the only thing he has to do. Um, you're asking like, how do you go up from going to the NFC Championship game as a rookie? Well, the next step is to play just like he played last year. If he plays better than he did last year, I mean that's incredible because what he did last year was incredible. Um, so if he's able to play better than that, I mean, why would Super Bowl not be in the conversation if he's able to play better than he did last year? But let's just say he doesn't. Let's just say he plays just like he played last year, but the team around him is better though. That's the key, right? You went out, you brought in the Debo Samuel. You went out, you brought in the Laramie Tunsil. Um, you had an excellent draft, and we'll get into that as well as the reasons why I do think that we do have a legitimate shot at going to the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Eagles are in our way, but that's a conversation for another day. I'll get into that, but just sticking to us, we have a legit shot. There's not going to be any sophomore slump from Jaden. Um, he's just really, really talented. Uh, I don't like the Lamar Jackson comparisons. I see why people do it, but I think it's disrespectful to both players. I think it's disrespectful to Lamar. I think it's disrespectful to Jaden because if you listen to anything that Jaden says, he doesn't want to be compared to Lamar Jackson. He wants to be Jaden Daniels, and I think that's fair. And the same thing with Lamar. I'm pretty sure he's looking like you know that kid is himself. He's not me. So I think it's disrespectful on both ends. So I wouldn't even do that. But I do know that in the same light of a Lamar, like people, these quarterbacks that are coming out in college now, coming out going to the NFL, they're gonna want to be like them as far as replicating their success early, and just thinking that they can change the way a franchise is looked at. Um, it was a tremendous ride last season. It was special, something that I'll never let anybody take away from me. I tell my wife all the time, like that season that we watched last year from Jaden was absolutely incredible. It just was. You're never gonna. I mean, I don't want to say never, but it's hard pressed to say that you'll see that again. Like there's so many records and different things that he broke that you can't even really keep count of all of that stuff. Um, but there was a lot of them. There was a lot of them. But the stuff that really got me was the records that he were breaking for quarterbacks in general. Like not a rookie record. It was quarterbacks, period. The completion percentage stuff that he was doing in the first 3 to 4 games of the season. Um, the fact that we had 3 straight games with no punts. Yes, we went for it on fourth down a lot, the most in the league actually, but we were 22 for 27 on fourth down, and all of them weren't fourth and short. These were fourth to for fourth about fourth and six, fourth and seven. Like we converted those. We converted fourth and longs too, fourth and 11. We did all of that. But he completed the short passes too. He was 12 for 12 on anything that was fourth and one, fourth and two, fourth and three. He was 12 for 12. Without a tush push, Philly. Without a tush push. It's just the kid was awesome. But we got a lot of contributions from a lot of different players. I think Bobby Wagner being on the team is a big deal as well. People might call him washed and old, but his veteran leadership and presence in that locker room, you can't account for that kind of stuff. Same with Zach Ertz. I actually wasn't even high on adding somebody like a Zach Ertz because I wanted us to get younger. Excuse me. But if you look at it, his stats are his career is actually very, very good. Very good. And last year he just showed you again that he could be highly, highly productive. He almost had 800 yards, uh, almost about seven touchdowns. I mean, he was crazy. He was great on third down. So, but again, not take away the stats. It's the veteran presence in the locker room. It's the effect that he has on a Jaden Daniels and being able to talk about what he's seeing on certain routes and had that conversation at a high level. Uh, and then we got the Terrys of the world that was begging for a quarterback, and we finally got one, and he broke the franchise record for receiving touchdowns the first year he had a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. The sky's the limit. The sky's the limit for this team. But again, Jaden Daniels is one of them ones. He's one of them ones. I don't know what else he would have to do to show that besides longevity, right? Besides doing it again, and continuing to do it. So that's the only thing he's missing. And once that happens, he's going to be up there with the greats by the time his career is over. So we can go ahead and just kill that whole sophomore slump thing. Uh, Mainly because the team around him has gotten better, right? Like we've gotten way better. So um, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. We're in for another great season. Later on, I'm a do a video about record predictions and stuff a little bit later on in the show. Not this episode, but later on when I do a couple episodes, I'll get into season predictions and stuff like that. But I do think that this year is going to be better than last year. Schedule a little bit tougher, but again, we're better. So I'm not really worried about the schedule. Um, and you also have a kid, well, a young man in Jaden who is striving to be great, right? It's one thing to be talented, know you're good and all of that stuff, but it's another thing to be humble about it in the same token and still understanding that you got to go out there and prove yourself every single season. He just dropped a video. Well, Washington just dropped a video from him sitting down, going one on one, and that's what he talked about. He talked about just going out there and proving himself again, and he knows that he's going to have to continue to do that. When you hear that, it's he's got the right stuff. He's made up of the right stuff. So to you know conclude that topic, Jaden Daniels is one of those ones, and I'm expecting another successful season. A couple other topics that I want to get into. Trying to make sure that I hit on the right stuff here. Um, but let's talk about my my Pistons real quick as far as just how we ended the season. How we ended the season, right? Um, ran into a New York Knicks team that they were they were they weren't better than us. They got the better names, but they weren't better than us. You know, my team is really young. The Detroit Pistons are really young. And Cade Cunningham is finally starting to come into his own. He's an all-star. He's an all NBA player, third team. Should have been second team all NBA, but We'll get into that another time as well. But the accomplishment of being a third team All NBA is big time for him. So um, I'm really looking forward to what we can do in the future, and I know that we're turning into a destination of people want to go to. Detroit has been looked over for a long time now. Looked over for a long time now, but I think we put on in a way this season that showed that we've got a lot of potential, and we just need the right pieces in there. So, looking forward to the Detroit Pistons and what we can do in the future. Who knows, man? Maybe I'll get to see them lift another trophy again, like I did in '04 and back in those years when we were just straight up dominant. We went to the Eastern Conference Finals or the Finals a lot back then in the early 2000s before LeBron James kind of took us out. But we'll get into that another time as well. But the Detroit Pistons, those are my boys, and we on our way. We on our way for sure. Um, Back to let's get into just a little bit about the NFL in general. Looking at the NFC East, um, a lot of talk out there with the Pickens going to Dallas and uh, the Eagles revamping. Nobody's really talking about the Giants. I mean, they kind of afterthought at this point. Um, but you never know. You never know because nobody thought that we would be shit any either. You know what I mean? So it's. I don't think they're gonna be shit though. Let's just call it like that. I don't think they're gonna be shit. I think they're gonna be pretty bad, but you never know. Russell Wilson might come in there and give him a little spark, but I fully expect to see Jackson Dart probably about I don't know, week 7, something around there, because the beginning of their schedule is brutal, and if they don't win early, I could fully see them making the transition right away. Um, it might even be earlier than week 7, but I think they'll give Russ some time and try to see if he can, try to see if he can do it or not. But yeah, NFC East, nobody has repeated as the division winner in the NFC East in 21 years. 21 years. Eagles have already won a Super Bowl in that same time, right? Like they've already won a Super Bowl in that same time. So you can't just say, oh, well, because Philly won the Super Bowl last season, that they're going to win the division. I don't have that happen. I actually think we're going to win the division this year. And, we'll get into what I think is going to happen when we get in the playoffs on another episode. But sneak peek, we're gonna be at least in that NFC Championship game. But anyway, let's back to the NFC East. Um, Dallas. Listen, as much as I hate the star, I can be real and say that getting Dak back is gonna allow y'all to win some more games. I'll say, right? It'll allow y'all to win some more games. Um, but at the end of the day, you're the third best team in the division. Let's call a spade a spade. You're the third best team in the division, and I don't see that changing for a while. So get comfortable in that seat. You know, could y'all possibly be better than what people think? Sure, I think FanDuel and the other betting sites have y'all at about a 7.5 win total right now. Um, I'd even take the over on that. I'd even take the over on that because I think 7.5 is I do think 7.5 is accurate, actually. Now that I think about it, 7.5 is accurate. Like why people would have you at 7.5, I think that's fair. But I'll play the over. I'll take the over on that. I give y'all 8, 9. Yeah, give y'all 8, 9 wins. You won 7 last year without Dak, even though Dak was not playing well before he got hurt. Y'all weren't winning games before he got hurt. So, this notion that because Dak is coming back, that y'all are going to be awesome, I think that's ridiculous. Y'all will be a little bit better than last year, but again, a little bit better to me. I think you cap out about 9 wins. The way you get to 10 is by default, right? Like I could see y'all getting to 10 wins if the schedule ends up not being as tough as it looks right now. People get hurt, quarterbacks not playing, people missing, main players and stuff like that. That would be the only way I could see y'all legitimately getting double digit wins would be by default. But I got y'all at about 8 and 9 wins, man. Um, your defense is sus at best. The best thing y'all do have going for you is your offense, and you still need to be able to run the ball. And if y'all think that Javante Williams is gonna be the running back that does it, okay, we'll see. Um, I don't have that happening. I do like Blue. I do like Jaden Blue, the running back that y'all drafted. I actually wanted us to draft him, so you could possibly end up having a run game, but it starts with your offensive line. I don't believe in your offensive line. Um, I don't think mass majority of people believe in your offensive line, but hey, that's why the game's got to be played, right? Like you got to go out there and prove it. So we'll see. We'll see how how it all ends up falling out. But save the best for last. Washington is gonna win the division. Um, we're gonna split with Philly during the season. As far as the games are concerned, we're gonna split with Philly, but we'll win the division though. We'll win the division. I think it is gonna come down to how they have the schedule set up with playing Philly both times within the last 3 weeks. I believe it is. It's kind of crazy, but both of those games are to be determined as far as um, what network and what time, and they're doing that on purpose. They know what they're doing. They're setting it up for those games to actually matter. They're setting it up for people to stay locked in towards the end of the season and kind of giving you a reason to be like, well, they might not be sitting starters or anything like that because these games are going to matter. But all the games prior are what set that up. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But I do have the Commanders winning this division. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be close, but I got us taking the edge on that. Um, Dallas, I don't think is going to make the playoffs. I don't have y'all in there. I do have Philly in, and I don't have the Giants in. I think the Giants will actually be picking in relatively high in the draft, but again, who knows? Who knows? Um, the NFC East is starting to return to the NFC Beast, though. Starting to return to the NFC Beast. I need the Cowboys to get a little bit better, though. I need the Cowboys to start getting a little bit better before we really are the NFC Beast again. But it could happen. It could happen. It's going to be tough in our division because it's family business, right? Like we split games, and that's just how it goes. Dallas beat us last year off the flukiest shit ever. Don't even get me started on that game. Uh, a kick return, a missed extra point by like it. Whew, don't get me started on that game. But I can tell you, if you go back and look at that game and how clutch Jaden Daniels is once again on the bomb to Terry McLaurin, that should have tied the game until we missed the extra point, and then we had the onside kick it, and they scooped that, and I believe they scored. They scooped that and scored, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, yeah, that game was one that really had me upset. Um, we won 12 games last year, dropped that game to Dallas, dropped the game to Pittsburgh, which these are all one possession games that we should have won. We should have won if you go back and watch the film. Um, that's a 14 win team. No wonder we went to the NFC Championship because we were that good. We were really that good. We went into the Detroit Lions house as the number one seed that they were, and we made light work of them. We made light work of them. Yes, they had injuries on defense. They had injuries on defense, but nobody's about to sit here and try to take credit away because somebody had injuries. You were still the number one seed, meaning you earned the right to be the number one seed because you dominated throughout the season. Even when your people started getting hurt later in the season, they were still winning games. So Detroit having injuries during that last game against us, that doesn't change my opinion on anything. I felt like your offense was intact, right? Like your offense was intact. You had your main playmakers out there, uh, Gibbs and Amon St. Brown and um, Goff, and your offensive line was intact. So you had what you needed, um, but we forced y'all to turn that ball over. Defense played well, and once again, Jaden Daniels was lights out in that NFC Championship game. So to go in on the road, to go on the road and win two playoff games, not one but two playoff games, is pretty incredible. Tampa was a great environment. Our fans came out there and showed out. That was awesome to see. Um, and Detroit was a crazy environment to be in uh, for those fans that were there. And just watching it on TV just really showed you how crazy it really was. I still rewatch that game every once in a while now. But we went in there and really put BTA put belt the ass on that one. Um, and I think it's going to be a lot of belt the ass in this next season. It's going to be a lot of it. So listen, I'm not going to keep y'all too long on this very first episode of the Nothing But the Real show. Um, but give me your feedback. Give me your feedback. Let me know what I can do to get better. Um, I'm open to all of that. I just want to try to do the best I can and try to get this content out. And um, again, I think a lot of my topics are going to be things that people talk to me about on the daily, or all the research that I do in order to feel like I should have this kind of show. I'm a sports fanatic. I'm a sports fanatic, especially a Washington Commander fanatic. So I'm open to having people on the show and having debates on the show, and that's gonna happen. I've already had people reach out to me and tell me that whenever I did get this started, they would love to be on, and we can go back and forth and really debate and get into it. Um, I'm passionate. I'm passionate. So depending on how the night's going, or depending on what you say to me, I might get triggered. I might get triggered. I don't know. I don't know. I might get triggered, and it could get ugly. But um, I'm for the most part, I'm gonna try to keep it. I'm gonna try to keep it. Rated G. I'm gonna try to keep it down and not make it personal. But sometimes when I get into it with people, it does get a little personal. You know, sometimes I think things are stupid. Sometimes I think everybody can have an opinion, right? Everybody can have an opinion, but sometimes I think people's opinions are stupid, right? Just like you might think my opinion is stupid. It's all fair. It's all fair. But if we're debating and we're going back and forth, and I tell you to shut your dumb ass up, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Hey, hopefully you got thick skin before you come on to Nothing But the Real show, because that's the kind of stuff that's the kind of engagement that we're gonna have if I think you said something that was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? So give me your feedback. I'm looking forward to it. It's been great doing this for the first time. I don't know if y'all can tell just by this first episode, but I'm a little nervous, a little nervous. I think the more and more I do this, the better the show will be, right? Like the more episodes I shoot, the better the quality you'll get, and all of that good stuff. So, I'm looking forward to it, but I appreciate anybody who joined. I see I do got a couple people in here watching now. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the support. If y'all could hit that like button for me, subscribe for me, share the video once it's over. I'd appreciate that too. Um, I'm just out here just trying to do the best I can and deliver this content. So um, again, open to all criticism, open to everything like that. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. This just the beginning. This is just the beginning, and we out of here.